So the way we work, so just a little bit of our background. So as an organisation, we sort of grown. Our first call was to sort of work with rural-urban drift. Māori who shifted from the rural into urban areas. And in Otautahi, that was those, particularly whānau, who shifted into hostels. And so they shifted into Christchurch, which was a very white city. And so our was to meet the needs of those guys in the community. It was actually, well, where do they go? What was the place for those young people and those kids? And so our program started as a program called Youth Guidance, an organisation called YFC, and it became Te Hauora, and then which was called Youth for Christ, and then actually Te Hauora shifted out because it needed to be its own autonomous identity. And so out of that we've over the years we've picked up, well, what does it mean? What does an Indigenous model of youth work, youth development look like in this urban context, where we have young people who are often raised in a single parent family who have been 2 or 3 generations disconnected from any form of cultural identity or value. And so our first place of point of connection with, no matter who you are, is around this concept of tūhono whånau, which is just connection. And it's that this tūhono whånau is like a dovetail connection. It's that really strong connection. And so we work around that principle of, well, when you do whakapapa or you do your mihi, you're actually you might talk about your mountain, your maunga, your awa, your river, but you don't necessarily have a relationship with those things. You might never have seen them, you might not have walked on that land, you might not have been there, but you still have a connection to them. And so understand actually the starting point for any relationship comes with connection. So it's about establishing connection. At a practical level, it's like, well, what do we have in common? Where do you come from? What does that look like? And creating a place of common connection. And so we might actually talk about, when we bring together our young people, well, tell us about a time in your life where you had a really awesome holiday. What did that look like? Or where was a time that you felt you really succeeded? So connection might not actually be through a physical place, but it's through a shared experience or those points. So where do we find that shared connection? And so that's sort of what we do. So the basis of all our engagement, be it with anybody, no matter what age, is always around creating connection. And so then out of that connection, it's about creating what we call Kaupapa Whånau. So within our worlds, we have what we call, or Mason Jury refers to them as our Whakapapa Whånau, our bloodlines, our Kaupapa Whånau, our places of interest, and then I guess our statistical or situational whānau. So that might be a young person who sits in a home of a statutory agency in care, or maybe in a boarding school. So they actually that's a place of belonging and being, but it's not necessarily out of choice. So that's what we call our situational statistical whānau. We don't have a better word. But our first point is actually, whatever we do, we acknowledge that our work, our mahi, our organisation are kaupapa whānau. So we work around, as an organisation, we have to model the values and the change and the things that we want to see within healthy communities. So we actually have to be a healthy community ourselves. So we're not a service-driven organisation. We're not defined by our government contracts or our funding. We're actually defined by the need that for centuries or for years, kaupapa whānau have existed for our kids. And on that journey into adulthood, from tamariki into taiohi into rangatira, so that's the journey of those kids into those key transitional, the first key transitional is around that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you're hitting puberty, but you're starting to find your place in terms of, I'm not yet an adult, I'm in that nowhere land, I'm not a child, I'm interested in these exciting things being an adult, but I don't have that space to be an adult in, I'm not yet developed. Kaupapa whānau or key kaupapa whānau people, mentors, those who have those key relationships, have often then at that age started to take those young people under the wing and start to teach them those key skills that support them to become a key, healthy, contributing member of their community or their whānau. So that all starts again, so come back to that understanding connection and understanding kaupapa whānau where they begin. And that journey. And so we define that journey just simply as rangatira to rangatahi, or which is rangatahi, which is rāranga, weaving, tahi one. So when I'm an adolescent, I'm a kid, I'm shifting into adolescence, my life tends to be all about me. And the rangatira, or rāranga, tira meaning many, is then as you shift into becoming a healthy contributing member of that community, your rangatira status or rangatiratanga is to find your ability to weave into the lives of many or others. So taking that knowledge and skills that you have, and then how do I use that to benefit the lives of others?